All right, guys, Alex and Travis here with a little quick recap of WrestleMania 34. We wanted to record something since it'll be a couple years before we cover this in depth on an episode of Talking Taker. But since it just happened, and since we started this podcast thinking the Undertaker was retired and we'd be going through his entire career in honor of his retirement, but of course, with wrestling, you never say never, and The Undertaker has come back 1 year after laying his gear down at WrestleMania 33 to have one more match, at WrestleMania 34 against John Cena after weeks and weeks of mysterious buildup and the match not even being announced. It did happen at WrestleMania. So I just got back from a trip to New Orleans, which I can talk about here in just a minute. I've got my buddy Travis, our co-host Travis, on the phone, recording him on the phone, so it's going to sound not as good as the rest of this episode, but he's in the car driving. We just thought we'd record something real quick to insert into here. So Travis, let's hear from you, from somebody who's watching it on the WWE Network. Man, what did you think of the whole presentation all night of John Cena in the crowd? What did you think of the fake out with Elias, the match announcement, and the quick and dirty match itself? Man, what were your overall opinions on The Undertaker versus John Cena?
Well, man, I thought the show as a whole was good. The whole thing with John Cena being in the crowd, I thought was fun. I was nervous they weren't going to do that, even though he said he was going to do it. Sometimes Vince, chickens out of stuff, or teases stuff and never pays it off. So I'm glad they actually went with him in the crowd. And I didn't like that it kind of interrupted the Asuka Charlotte celebration afterward. But the fake out with Elias was fantastic, because you heard the crowd pop when the lights went out, and you were there and you could tell us your experience in a second. But that was a really cool fake out with having Elias come back up and then basically get me down and the real lights go out. It's really the Undertaker, and people online and the internet wrestling community were speculating it's going to be Biker Taker, and Kid Rock's going to come out and sing the American BA song, and he's going to ride down on a motorcycle and yada yada, and everyone was making it out to be something that it was, and it didn't have to be. I mean, he still he came out the dead man, and I thought it was cool. But I remember telling you even last week before you guys went, I said, even if he comes out as the Biker Taker or a regular one, I want him to get in that ring, and I want him to beat the crap out of John Cena from a storyline perspective. I love Cena in real life, but I want him to beat him up and just squash him, basically. And that's basically what we got, man. Basically what we got. We got a squash match. Went down with one tombstone, right? And he didn't ball finishes, just the choke slam and tombstone.
Yeah.
So I thought it was perfect. You've been talking smack about me for the last month. Here I am, big boy, to play, and I'm gonna put you in your place. I'm the Undertaker. So get off me. That was great.
How did the crowd sound to you watching it on TV? Did they sound? How was the pop and everything like that?
Oh, I mean, the Elias pop was big when they thought it was Taker, and the fake out, it was perfect, man. And then once it was really the Undertaker, and it was the gong went off, and you heard that, and you realized it was actually him. I mean, that crowd on TV, it came off like they were there for that. Even though it was announced, they were there for that match. The idea of the Undertaker at WrestleMania, as we've been chronicling in our podcast here, is he's synonymous with this show. With the show of shows here, WrestleMania, and whether he has two losses or not, this is still his show. And seeing him at WrestleMania is a special event, no matter what he does there. And actually have him come out, I think people realize this is real. It's real now, and they just came unglued, man. So, how was it like being there live for that?
It was pretty cool, man. I think the vibe in the Superdome, to me, from what I could tell, people were there for a couple things. They were very much there to see Ronda Rousey. She got the loudest reactions, and the fans, from what I can tell, it's always, I guess you're kind of biased by your section and by what you're closest to, since it's so big, but it really seemed like she got the loudest reactions of the night, followed by Daniel Bryan. People loved Daniel Bryan and loved getting to see him come back. Rusev Day was over like crazy. They were chanting. Rusev Day was echoing through the Superdome before the show started, out on the streets. It was everywhere. And then I'd say close, either tied with that or right underneath it was Undertaker. Undertaker was tremendously over. People were so excited when the lights went out. The Elias fake out was great because I had completely forgotten at that point that Elias was not on the card. Even though you know he's going to be involved somehow and doing something. So that was a perfect way, I thought, to use him and fit him in there, give him a spot on the card, and then to have finally, after one last fake out, to have The Undertaker appear, have his gear appear mysteriously in the ring, and then him come down the aisle. The entrance was just incredible. If you've never been live for an Undertaker entrance, which I know you and I have been there for a few of them, but if you've never been there for it, it's undescribable. The atmosphere, you can feel the heat from the flames rising up to the top of the arena. The sound, the aura, all of it was incredible. And, I haven't gone back and been able to watch it yet. We drove home all day yesterday. So he looked great in person. He looked like he was in the best shape he's been in a few years. He did the rope walk. He was moving fast. And, obviously it was only 3 or 4 minutes. So he couldn't get gassed out or anything like that. But he looked great from my perspective. How did he look to you watching on TV as far as his physical status?
Yeah, man. I mean, if he's going to do this like this, he can do this for many, many, many years to come. Man, he looks great. He collects a paycheck once a year. Mania would be awesome for him. But he looked awesome. Yeah, he looked in good physical condition. I mean, like he did the rope. He's very fast for a big man, even in his age now. But again, he didn't have time to blow up out there or anything, and he did his thing. But he looked really good. I thought, physically, his hair extensions looked great too. A little long on the hair extensions there, but it's all good. But yeah, man, just seeing him again. We started this podcast thinking he was done last year, and I remember you were making a spreadsheet of all his matches we're going through, and now I got to add one more box on there for us to cover the podcast. So,
yep.
We'll have to add one more episode, but that's fine. Yeah, and we'll break this match down. I guess 2 years from now, in depth. Get there on episode whatever that's going to be, 181 or something. So, but anyway, yeah, he looks great, man, and really happy to see him. Happy you got to be there. Sad I couldn't be there myself with you, but I was watching. I was up till 3 in the morning watching on because I was at work, and it was great to see. I'm glad you got to be there. Our Talking Taker correspondent on the ground in section. Well, tell the fans what section you're in.
I was in section 619.
Booyaka! Exactly. Awesome.
Well, real quick, where do you think The Undertaker goes from here? Was that just one final appearance? Was this the start of something new? You said he looks like he's in good enough shape to keep doing that sort of match forever. What happens next?
I think February 2019 we'll hear from him again. Honestly, I don't think we're going to do much more. Which is fun. Well, is he going to be at the Greatest Royal Rumble thing in a few weeks? I don't know.
Yeah, I believe he's at least supposed to appear. Yeah. I don't know if he's confirmed to compete, but I believe he's making an appearance there.
Well, that would be the greatest card since WrestleMania, according to Johnny Coachman, as he said on Raw the other night.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, he could do appearances like that, but I see him continuing his WrestleMania appearance if he's like this for years to come, man. He looked great. He had that hip surgery, and he didn't look like he was uneasy on his feet or anything. He looked great, so really good.
Well,
really good.
My brother-in-law, Buck, who I attended the show with, you can see him on my Instagram feed, on the Instagram story. It's saved on there on the Talking Taker Instagram feed if you want to see all the videos we took of the trip to New Orleans over there. And you can even see a picture of Buff Bagwell, who we saw out on the streets, Bourbon Street, after WrestleMania. Buff Daddy. Anyway, we were talking, and I feel like this match, after watching it, I feel like we're building towards one more rematch. WrestleMania 35, Taker versus Cena again, possibly career versus career retirement match. Obviously, it's just fantasy booking. This is just speculation. Right after WrestleMania, it felt like there's got to be something more to that. For the Undertaker to just squash John Cena that quickly, and I don't know if you could tell, just John Cena just ran out of the ring as soon as it was. He rolled out and just ran up the ramp to the back. He got out of there didn't stick around. As soon as he got pinned, he rolled out, and got out of there. It feels like maybe this could be the start of something more. Obviously, there are some people complaining online. Some people saying Undertaker ruined his retirement last year by coming back and doing this match, and I think that's a fair criticism, and I don't disagree with people thinking that. Obviously, we said beforehand we would prefer for a WrestleMania 33 that was a pretty perfect ending, but the Undertaker, he's earned the right to do what he wants, and if he felt like his match with Roman Reigns wasn't a satisfying ending to his career, he wanted to get back in better shape and come back and do something else, maybe even a multi-match program with John Cena. If he wants to do that, then I'm okay with him coming back and ending things on his terms, because I don't think he's going to do anything that he doesn't want to do. I don't think he's going to be forced to come back and do more matches if he doesn't want to. I think Vince McMahon would respect him enough to honor his wishes of retirement, just like he's done with Shawn Michaels, and just like he's done with Steve Austin and all that. If Undertaker did not want to come back and do this, I don't think he would have. So I respect the fact that Undertaker wants to keep going. He wasn't satisfied with WrestleMania 33, perhaps, and wanted to come back and end it on a different note. And I'm okay with that. And we're going to cover it, and we're going to watch it as fans. If you didn't think that this was a great way to go out, if you think he ruined things, I understand that as well. I understand that perspective. But I also just put that aside for the moment, enjoyed the moment of seeing him there again and seeing him. I mean, he squashed John Cena kind of like he squashed Jimmy Snuka 21 years ago. Yeah. So it was really cool to see that, and we're gonna watch it and let it play out and see where it goes.
Yep, absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. If it is something bigger, that's fine. If not, it's fine too. It was good.
Yeah.
So it was good. Always good to see old Taker in the ring. So.
Well, that's the story of Taker Easy in the Big Easy, and now we're going to get back to our story of Undertaker and Mankind at Revenge of the Taker from April 1997.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to drop Taker Easy line right now because that will come at the end of the episode, but you guys enjoy.